All right, on Friday, before Shabbat, so we went a little bit further in this speech that the Rebbe gave, which was in, I think, 1957, right? Was it 1957? Let me just look and see over here. Here it is. Oh, no, we gotta go a little further. And in it, he spoke about the Passover Seder and how it is that we make such a stress on the bad son, the evil son. The evil son, we first of all, he's right after the wise son. The wise son. There's four sons the Torah talks about. Echad Chacham, Echad Rasha, Echad Tam, Echad Shein Lishol. One is wise, one is evil, one is simple, one doesn't know what to ask. It says, why put the evil one number two? Why? And the Rebbe goes that doesn't make any sense really, according to all of the order that these sentences appear in the Torah. That's where we learn these four sons from, because there's four sons. If your son asks you, when your son asks you, this is referring to the four sons. And the bad son is the first one. Why put him last? I'm sorry. Why put him number two? And according to their importance, the bad son should be the last one. And according to Kabbalah, for sure the bad son should be the last one. Why put him number two? So the Rebbe answers, and another question. He says, and you answer him back. What does he ask? He says, what is all this for you? And you say, listen, if you would have been back then in Egypt, you wouldn't have even gotten out of Egypt. You would have been one of the 4/5 of the Jews, the Jewish nation that died in the darkness. So what are you telling him a thing like that for? You're telling him that the evil son has got no place here in the Seder night. If you would have been back there, you wouldn't even gotten out. And not only that, says the Rebbe, if you remember, that according to the Arizal, the four cups go according to the four sons. The first cup is according to the wise son. The second cup is according to the evil son. The whole entire Haggadah of Pesach, where we say on the second cup, the first cup we say Kiddush. That takes just a minute or two, and then we fill up the second cup and we say the whole entire Seder night, all these stories and the Haggadah, the whole entire thing, before we eat the matzah, which takes us an hour, 2 hours, however long it takes you. That we say on the second cup, on the evil son's cup. And so the second cup of wine, that's the evil son. So the whole night, how can that be? So says the Rebbe, I'm going to explain this whole thing to you. We did this once when we did this. So the Rebbe gives an answer that the bad son is he's a Jew, and that's why it says in the Torah, Echad Chacham ve'Echad Rasha. Each one of them is connected to Hashem Echad. And there's another sentence that says, Afal Pishachat Yisraelu. Even if a Jew does sins, he still is a Jew. Every Jew is equal in the fact that he's Jewish. Some of them express it, some of them don't, some of them oppose it, some of them develop it, but nevertheless, they're all Jews. Therefore, it is the obligation, not like it was when the Jews left Egypt the first time, that the people who were righteous got out and the people that weren't righteous got out. Nowadays, we have to deal with every Jew, even the bad son. In fact, the bad son is, in a way, the most important. We can't put him number one because he can't rule the whole Seder night. But he's the most important. That's why we put him next to the wise son. So this wise son is the only one that can really have a positive effect on him and make him come back to his senses. It says this is all the preparation. This is the whole idea of all the Jewish people are really one. Like it says, 1 second, 1 minute. Yeah. When the Jewish people are really one, like it says, when the Jewish people received the Torah, it says, Vayichan Yisrael. They were one. The Jewish people are one. When God told Moses to take the Jews out of Egypt, so he said, go to Paro and say, my son, my firstborn Israel. It doesn't say my sons. My son. The Jewish people are called the son of God. They're the child, they're the firstborn of God, the Jewish people. But they're called one. They're all one. Whether the good ones, the bad ones, whatever, all the Jewish people. So that's this night of Passover. The evil son, he's like the center of attraction in a way, because he's the one we have to work on in order to reveal who he really is, to reveal to him who he really is. Und das ist euch, was als a this is a preparation for what it says, the four sons. Therefore, it says, Boruch Amakom, Boruch Hu, Boruch Shenasan Tolam Yisrael. Because right before we talk about these four sons, we have these four blessings. It says, Boruch Amakom, Boruch Hu, blessed is God, blessed is He, blessed is the one who gave the Torah to the Jewish people, blessed is He. And then we say, Keneged Arba Banim, corresponding to the four sons, the Torah speaks. As Zayin and Faran Deos, there are some opinions, as their Lashon is Nitkan Gavoran Mitzad Dem Seder, that this language, these four blessings that are given right before we talk about the four sons. We're talking about the Haggadah of Passover, right? The Haggadah of Passover, this language that's used, blessed is God. Hamakom is another name for God. Blessed is God, blessed is He, blessed is the one that gave the Torah to the Jewish people, blessed is He. Some say that this corresponds to the head of the family. He would fleck zogin, he would say, when Alef, Leg, and Enfer, and everyone would answer. That he would say, Boruch HaMakom, Boruch Hu, and everybody in the crowd, they would say, Boruch HaMakom, Boruch Hu. When the Rosh HaMishpacha, when the head of the family, had gesagt said, Boruch HaMakom, he would say, blessed is God. Haben Alef Enfer, everyone say with Boruch Hu. They would say, Boruch, blessed He. Vegan Air, when he would say, Boruch Shenasan Tolam Yisrael, when he said, blessed is the one who gave the Torah to the Jewish people, everyone would also say, Boruch Hu. But Kol Oifen, in any case, Zayin and Defir Mal, there were these four times Boruch. This blessed is blessed. These four blessings that we say before we talk about the four sons, this corresponds to the four sons. In Yeda Einan, in every single one of them, Men Poilim, we have something, this Boruch, the blessing. Melashon Amshacha. We have to draw down godliness into each one. Mamshich Zayin, in their echad, the oneness of God. Was thus, which this, darf men nit nor in Russia, not only in the bad son, but also in the wise son. As oich der chacham, that also the wise son, he also has to have a request for mercy. Because why? He's the wise son. He does Torah, he does the commandments. He's like a good Jew, right? He's got it made, right? Wrong. He does not have it made at all. That everything is miracles. And the fact that we're able to serve the creator of the universe is a big miracle. And we put him right next to the evil son to know that he should remember that he's not far from being an evil son himself. It's a big miracle if a Jew does the Torah and the commandments. A big, amazing miracle. We have no idea how amazing it is. We can never take it for granted. A Jew that does Torah, those of you who are listening to this class, if you do Torah, if you do commandments, you can never take it for granted what an amazing miracle is that we're doing the commandments. First of all, just the fact that we have commandments, that God tells us what to do, and that God has enabled us to connect to Him. This is an amazing, amazing gift. That's why death is such a terrible thing. Going to heaven is no big deal. Because in going to heaven, you get pleasure, but in this world, you can actually do what God wants. That's an amazing miracle. And we have to give thanks to God, and we also have to request mercy from God, a blessing that we should continue doing it. We shouldn't be influenced by the world. Is does davka? This is by means of the Seder echad chacham. It has to be. How can we have an effect on others by echad? By revealing this echad, the oneness which is in each and every Jew. Again, The Jewish people are God's chosen people. We are chosen by God to make this world a perfect, beautiful, wonderful, happy place. We're here to tell the non-Jews how much God loves them, that He's creating them. They have tremendous potential, and that life is a wonderful thing and the world is a good thing. That's what we have to do it ourselves first. Therefore, we have to deal with what's called the bad son. But each one of us has this oneness of God. We're supposed to be examples of the oneness of God in the world. Like them, according to this, can men, their Claren, we can say, as das was a state. The Amar Lo, Ilu Sham, if you were there, you wouldn't have been redeemed. Main men, it's not talking about mitem midache, we're not talking about pushing the son away. What does it say? The bad son. Each one asks a question. The bad son, what's his question? What is all of this to you? What is this whole night? What is this whole ritual to you? And you say back to him, if you would have been back there in Egypt, you wouldn't have even gotten out. You're the bad son. You wouldn't have gotten out. Says the Rebbe, how can you say a thing like that to a person? He's sitting there with you in the Seder, in the night of the Seder, and you're telling him, you've got no place here. Right? What are you doing here? You wouldn't have even gotten out. You got no reason to celebrate. You were among those people who died. Says the Rebbe, this is not telling him a bad thing. Adarab, exactly the opposite. Men meint as men darfin mevarzan. You have to explain in a pleasant way the Torah. Varum poilt oif yenem, because the Torah brings every person to come close. When God said, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, when God gave the Torah and said, I am God, your God, and He said it singular. He didn't say, Anei Hashem Elokechem, your God's plural. He said, your God singular. Is by Yeder Yidden, by every single Jew, angekritz, that's carved in, as Elokecha, that your God, your power, your life, is Anochi, is the essence of God that took us out of Egypt. Umitzad Torah, from the Torah, is Yeder Yid, because when God gave the Torah, so He opened up the door, He embraced every single Jew, that every single Jew for all generations, Verel Zol Nitzayin, no matter who he is, Muz Ois Luz Veren, he has to be freed. Varum, because is Nogea. Right, yeah. What is that? Ois Gelaced, yeah. Veren. Var is Nogea and Klaus Akavana, because every single Jew is part of the whole entire picture. Right? It's like a child being born and he hasn't got a little toe. It's no big deal, little toe, but nevertheless, you want him to have a little toe. Why shouldn't he have a little toe? What's wrong with the toe? And especially when you don't know if it's the toe or it's some cell in the brain, whatever it is. Nevertheless, a person is not complete until he's complete. Every single Jew is part of the body of the Jewish people. Und das means, this means, that's what we're saying to the bad son, the evil son. If you were back then, you wouldn't have been redeemed. What does it mean? Back then, before God gave the Torah, in Egypt, before the Torah was given, then you would have died in the darkness. But after the Torah was given, right? The Torah was given to the Jews 50 days after they left Egypt. Now also you can get out. By means of this, which you show him, them know him from the Torah, the pleasantness of the Torah. As poiled men in him, we can cause by him a kiruv lavinu shebeshamayim. You can bring him closer to his Father in heaven, which that's just revealing who he really is. It's like Columbus didn't invent America. He discovered America. Like the same thing. We're not inventing something inside of the Jew. Really, I'm a normal person, but I'll do the commandments. No, really, you're a Jew. That's your essence. And that you're a normal person, that's the veneer. That's the external. And you just have to reveal that what's in the external, that's not the whole picture. That really you're a Jew, just like Moses, like the Lubavitcher Rebbe. You're exactly the same thing. Right? Everybody's different, and that's what you are. But nevertheless, you're connected to God no less than the biggest tzaddikim. As Lloyd Dem, according to this, Ken men oich der klaren, we can also explain the reason oif dem for us, their ikar haggadah, the main haggadah, is said on the second cup. And also it says that the Seder night, we have to begin by saying something bad about the Jewish people. Beganot. It says in the beginning, our fathers were idolaters, right? Terach was the father of Abraham. He was a big idolater. He had a big store, what is a big shop of idols. Yetzias Mitzrayim, why do we have to talk about the bad things? Why is this cup on the second son? He's the bad son. Why? Why this how do you say, obsession with bad on the night of Passover? Why? Says the Rebbe, very simple. We're coming to transform it to good. Yetzias Mitzrayim, when the Jewish people got out of Egypt, Chadzei is hecher from under golos, even though it's the highest of all of the other redemptions, big miracles, big miracles. When the Jewish people came back from Babylon, so it wasn't with such big miracles. It was very, very difficult, the whole thing. It was a miracle, but nothing like going out of Egypt. But going out of Egypt was the greatest. Barum and all the Gulas and all the other exiles is nach geblieben, and even from Gulas. The Jews always had some sort of a residue from exile. Aber Gulas Mitzrayim, when the Jews left Egypt, that's it. They never went back to Egypt again. They were never slaves again. Let's say that again. They left Egypt, it says, Metzula she'ein modagan, like a fish pond that's no fish in it, and a metsuda, like a silo that has no, not even one grain of wheat in it, and not only, and like a fish pond that has no fish in it. They took all the sparks out. Is does nor von deswegen, but nevertheless, nitkaven kein geula shlema. It wasn't complete. They left Egypt completely. Why was it? What's wrong? Barum, because yesh achara galus, because afterwards we see the Jewish people went into exile again, right? First temple was destroyed. Second temple was destroyed. The tachlis from Yetzias Mitzrayim, the purpose from going out of Egypt is oif tzu coming to come to the future redemption. That's like the mimer we're learning. Gula shleim, it'll be a total redemption. She'ein achara galus. There won't be exile afterwards. So velcha men gate to Yetzias Mitzrayim on that we so velcha men gate from Yetzias Mitzrayim on, that we are now approaching this future redemption from the time we left Egypt 3,300 whatever is 34 years ago. That every year we talked about every day through 1 million whatever it is, 1,200,000 days ago. Every day we're going closer and closer to this future redemption. And when we come to this future redemption, can mendurach and kulanu ke'echad davka. It has to be all the Jews together, like we said before. Just like it was when the Jews left Egypt, just like the Jews when they got the Torah, they had to be all together. Therefore, is Ikra Miras Haggadah, the main thing of the Haggadah, the main effort that we put through Dort and Vu, as is Schwerster, the place where is the most difficult. On the second cup, this corresponds to the evil son, the bad son. That's the main effort, because we have to unify the Jewish people again. And the only thing that's going to unify them is when all the Jews reveal who they really are. Nor, Mer, and even more. Therefore, that's the main occupation, because the main occupation of this night is not just to remember that we left Egypt, but it's a preparation, and that's the main thing of the future redemption that's going to be. Therefore, there's the big occupation with the evil son. If it was only talking about going out of Egypt, the evil son didn't get out. But when we're talking about the future redemption, is the evil son he's not evil anymore. But he'll change himself. He'll reveal his true identity. Men hoiped on. We begin, in the beginning, we say, that's why we start the Haggadah by saying bad things about the Jewish people. In the beginning, we were idolaters. Was in them, which in this is Merumas, is hinting at the pintale, what is this? Sorry. In this, we hint at the fifth son. We have 4 sons. There's a son number 5. The Rebbe said this in 1957. I think we'll see in a second. Who's the 5th son? What are you talking about? It only talks about 4 sons. There's the wise son, the evil son, the simple son. The son doesn't ask questions. What's a 5th son? Was fragt afilu nit. He does not even ask any questions. Weil weist in Ganzen, he doesn't know from the Yiddishkeit, he doesn't know anything about Judaism. He's not even there at the night of the Seder. Is sich nor nach nit mit Yaches zu Avram Yitzchak Yaakov. He doesn't even know that he's connected to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Nor zu mit Hatchila, he's only what? He's only connected to, in the beginning, our forefathers were idol worshippers. So terach, and that's like if people say, you have to be modern, right? Don't your Judaism, this is an old thing. Be fresh, be new. You say, listen, Judaism is the new thing. The old thing is the certain idolaters that was 2,000 years of idolatry before Abraham. That's the old thing, right? Being who you are and just being yourself. That's old. That's what's old. The Torah is new. Is durach dem, by means of this. Therefore, we start the Torah talking about bad. Namely, saying we're inviting the bad. This son that's not even here. The son that's the idolater. Doesn't even know about Judaism. Doesn't know about Abraham. We're inviting him also. Is durch dem was man vernemt sich mit alle arbas banim, by means of dealing with his 4 sons and also with this 5th son that's not even there at the Seder night. Vet men zocha, we can merit to the future redemption. V man is Messiah by Miras Haggadah, like we say in the Haggadah. We say the Haggadah, or if in Kosheni on the 2nd cup. The note of the Chashir Chadash will make known a new song, Lashon Zachar. A new song. What does it mean? A new song, not a feminine song, Shira Chadasha. That's weak, a weak song. But we're talking about a male song, masculine, which masculine is strong. Was thus gate oif der Geula Tira. This is the future redemption. Was zu ir velen zochazan, which will merit all the different types of Jews, even the bad son. Why? Chach mitzad asma, because himself Volter nit zochazan. Afilu tzugulas Mitzrayim, even though he himself doesn't even want to go out of Egypt. Velcha is nidruka, which is even lower. What happened? What happened? 1 minute. All right, he doesn't. This bad son, he didn't even want to go out of Egypt. For sure, he's not going to go out of the future redemption. Says the Rebbe, no. Aber mitzad dem inyan from Torah, but because the Torah was given to him also, that oich that he also unafila their 5th son, and even the 5th son, the son that doesn't even come to the Seder, doesn't know he's a Jew. Sug ben. Was is noch nidrucha, which is even lower. This is even a Jew that's even before Abraham, doesn't know anything about Abraham, nothing. Nevertheless, zochazain to the geula tida, he will also be merited to the future redemption. When hecher from geula, the future redemption, which is not just going out of Egypt, it's even higher than going out of Egypt. Und durch kulam, by means of that, by all being one. Vel and mir al zoche, we can merit zayin to the geula shlema, the complete and total redemption. She'ein acharei galus, that there's no exile after it. By means of Moshiach tzidkenu b'mei Rabbi Yameinu. So what's the Rebbe saying? The night of the Seder Passover is a preparation for the future redemption, and it's reminding us that going out of Egypt was just a preparation for the future redemption. And therefore, it says that the bad son is sitting there, that the bad son, that if he was back there in Egypt, he wouldn't get out. But the future redemption, he will get out, because this is after the giving of the Torah. And not only that, says the Rebbe, not only the evil son, it even talks about the 5th son. It says before Abraham, our forefathers served idols. So that's talking about the 5th son that doesn't even know anything about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I say that there's a 6th son. And who is the 6th son? That's the Chabad Chassid, that he's not at the night of the Seder because he's out there looking for the 5th son. He's out there somewhere, who knows where, in Kathmandu or something, looking for the 5th son. All these Israelis, backpackers out there. There comes, like in Kathmandu, there's like in Nepal, there's every year, there's like 1,000 people there for the Seder night. The Israelis, really, seriously. Israelis, they come all over. They come from the mountains, from So that's what it means. We're saying that this prepares the night of the Passover and Seder. This is preparing for the future redemption, where everybody's going to go out. Everybody, every single Jew will be a part of the future redemption, and they're all being gathered together, little by little, by the Rebbe, who is the Moshiach Tzidkenu, to make a new, happy, holy, blessed, productive world. Okay, let's learn the Yom Yom. Here we go. Question is, when's going to happen? Jewish wealth is not houses and gold. The real true Jewish wealth is being Jews that keep Torah and the commandments, and bringing children and grandchildren that they keep Torah and commandments. That's true Jewish wealth. Have a good day with Moshiach now. Look forward to seeing you at 3:00. God willing, we'll learn the Chumash with commentaries.